What's up, y'all? It's your girl, No Better Nina, here with you on Vibe 105, back for another episode of No Better Chat. Joining me today is a very talented R&B singer from the city who's been making her mark in the industry, having been featured on popular blogs like Complex Canada, has over 500,000 streams on her last project, and more recently dropped her brand new EP, Waves of Love Volume 1. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kennedy Road.
Hey, nice to be here. Nice to see you. And thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for being here with me. So we're going to get into the project, but first I kind of want to get our listeners acquainted to you. So, everyone in the city knows that Kennedy Road is an actual place. So I'm curious to know, what's its significance to you? What made you decide on that as your name?
Honestly, there's so many levels to it, but ultimately it just made the most sense. Kennedy is my government name. Mm-hmm. So, and then just the significance that it has in Toronto, just kind of in a nutshell, that's kind of what it boils down to. Of course, I have my own experiences plenty with Kennedy Road and Scarborough and everything, but more so comes from my last name.
Back when you were first sort of learning the ropes of the industry, you'd openly spoken about some of the kinds of stereotypes or typical treatment that women in the industry are subject to. Looking back at from when you first started then to now, tell me how you've kind of navigated your way through all of that.
Well, I guess I just went for it and just went through a lot of stuff that is not that young girls shouldn't have to go through, especially when you're just trying to create music, just trying to collaborate with people. Especially here in Toronto, which is why I ended up moving to the States, because I'm nobody takes me seriously. People were just messing around, in a lot of disrespectful ways. And so there was a lot of ceilings and blockages that I was experiencing. However, when I did get to LA, it was just a whole other extreme of that, so suddenly I have people taking me more seriously, but it was just a whole other level. So, I mean, it's just about, for me, it was just diving headfirst into it. And as I learned my musical voice, and I went through a lot of experiences and hard times and stuff, I learned my own voice. I learned how to say no. I learned how to, just command respect in whatever I'm doing. And I think a lot of that came from me learning to respect myself. And once that became a real thing, it just naturally happened, where it's just if anybody kind of comes to me with any disrespect, especially on a level of a woman or whatever, it just doesn't really fly at all at this point. Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that, because it is tough. I totally get it. So it's good to know that you found your voice and you stood your ground on that. Now, in navigating your way through that, what would you say is kind of the most valuable thing you learned, or maybe just a piece of advice you would give to other young women out there kind of following their music dreams?
Ooh, I want to say, I feel like I've said this already, you hear it all the time, but I would just say bet on yourself, especially to women, because people are constantly trying to tell me who I should be and how I should be, no matter what, no matter how far I've come from when I first started, it's still, oh, you should do this, you should do right? Or I could have done this for you, I can do this for you. Everyone's selling a dream, everyone's got their ideas. But when you kind of just bet on yourself, stick to what's within you, I feel that's the most powerful place to be in. So just follow yourself, bet on yourself.
Yeah. No, I hear that. Now, from what I understand, the name Waves of Love actually speaks to an overall wave that the 3 tracks on the project are taking us through. Talk to me about what you take us through on this wave. So where we start, where we go, where we end up, and where we're possibly going next.
Well, and I mean, that's kind of the thing. There's a level of unpredictability to it, as is the idea of waves. You kind of just gotta flow with it. So I've kind of left it a little bit open, only in the sense that every time I release music, I learn so much. I learn about myself, I learn about music, I learn about releasing, I learn about the industry, everything. And so for me to say exactly where it's gonna go and what each wave would be, I feel I wouldn't even go there right now, just because it's meant to just
flow,
and we see where it goes. And I'm leaving it open for myself to have that full experience as well. But again, it's just love, right? There's so many different waves within love. and in life and everything. And I relate everything to nature at the end of the day.
You make a lot of emotional, like lovey-dovey type of music. So I do have to ask, where do you tend to draw most of your inspo from?
Definitely like relationships, but also, like I said before, nature. Like, I guess, I don't know, I just love nature. And nature is like the most interesting mirror that we can like experience of like ourselves and our possibilities and capabilities and stuff. So but yeah, that nature and relationships for sure.
Okay, so going back to relationships then, how do you decide like who or what is worthy of writing a song about?
Ooh, you know what, I have never written a song about one person.
Okay.
Normally I like something can kind of like inspire me to write like or think about a certain topic or whatever, and then I find all the inspiration and I kind of just base it on a bunch of different people and my experiences with that, you know. So it's just like, you know what I mean, like if I'm gonna sing about apples, like I'm talking about like green apples, red apples, all that stuff, not just like one type. You know. So that's something most people wouldn't know. I've never written a song about one person.
That's dope. I like that. At the end of the day, it's not our fault that all Toronto men are the same. So
ooh, I was just like, oh, I just incriminated myself still, but it's okay.
Last question. Let our listeners know where they can follow you on social media and check out all of your music.
Well, you could follow me, mostly just follow me on Instagram or Twitter. I like Twitter more than like all of them. At KNNDYRD. And you know, it's everywhere. YouTube and Spotify, Apple, all that stuff.
Yeah.
We can't leave it on the note of talking shit about Toronto mans. We can't do that. We gotta love our people. We gotta love our people. Toronto mans are very special. They're great people, and you know, the world is blessed to have them. So,
you found a good one. You found somewhere there. You found a good one. Well, Kennedy Road, thank you so much for joining me. This was an absolute pleasure. Y'all make sure to go and check out Kennedy Road's music on all streaming platforms, and go and check out her brand new project, Waves of Love Volume 1, which is out everywhere now. And here she is right now with the track Waves of Love off of that project, only on Vibe 105.
Y'all ready? Once again, right back to the music. Now.